So we're directing everyone to the YouTube channels.
Okay. All right, we can get started. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I will call to order the City Council meeting for December 2nd, 2025, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Clerk Beck, can we do a roll call, please?
Mayor Longget,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Long, Councilor Barnes,
Good evening.
Councilor Friedman,
Here.
Councilor Gallegos,
Good evening.
Councilor Sampson,
Good evening.
Councilor Albieville.
Here.
Mayor, we have one.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, well, we'll begin tonight's meeting with public input. If you wish to speak during this time, please make sure you fill out one of these speaker forms that you can access through the glass doors in the back. Pass it over to Clerk Beck and we can get you on the list. You'll have 5 minutes to speak. Please state your name and address before you do so. You will also have the opportunity to call in as well. Tonight we will begin with Roy Johnson.
Hello. My name is Roy Johnson, 2547 Sweetwater Circle. I agree with the mayor on this one. I feel like it's personal. The last city council meeting, city council spoke of the planning commission appointments. There were 2 applicants for 2 openings. There was general agreement that both applicants were highly qualified, both have experience on the commission. Mr. Watson was approved and appointed, and Mr. Wong was not. 2 of the 3 councilors interviewing the candidates said both candidates were qualified and interviewed well. Councilor Friedland said that Mr. Wong is certainly qualified and had a great interview before he subsequently voted against Mr. Wong. Councilor Geiges spoke highly of Mr. Wong. Councilor Sampson spoke concerning public perception. She spoke of a quid pro quo. She said she believed that 2 of the council candidates that ran received a donation from Mr. Wong. She asserted that there was a conflict of interest for them to vote on this. She continued and said, quoting, "One of the things I would say, because conflict of interest is basically you get something for something else. Even though there is a quid pro quo that happens beforehand, we don't know. Doesn't have to be said. It's one of those things we're trying to be above board and we're trying to remove all conflict." I'm not an attorney, but I'm aware that giving money to a public official in exchange for a vote is quid pro quo by definition. It's also a class 3 felony in Colorado, if I'm correct, for both the giver and receiver. I certainly hope and believe that Councilor Sampson was not alleging this crime, and I hope it was her intent to address possible negative public perception only, and not to create such. I strongly assert that this is not the public perception, that her colleagues in the council committed this felony, and thus is not a valid argument. Appointing Mr. Wong is legal and ethical. His qualifications can be examined by the public, and he's highly respected in the community. Some councilors assert there's insufficient marketing and recruitment for the openings. Councilor Geiges articulated a long and detailed list of marketing efforts made by the city. By councilors' count, there are 2 highly qualified and experienced candidates, both interviewed well for 2 unpaid volunteer positions. This does not indicate a problem. It indicates a success. 2 openings, 2 highly qualified people. The mayor asked Councilor Friedland what his ideal candidate would look like. He replied with several qualities, including somebody that maybe brings a new perspective that we haven't had on the planning commission before. I think it's notable that when Councilor Friedland voted to approve Mr. Watson's appointment, this last desired attribute of not being a commission before did not come up. But interestingly, it came up during the time of Mr. Wong's discussion. Should there be different standards for different applicants? Speaking of Mr. Wong, and extending the application period, The mayor said, I feel like we have an ideal candidate already. We want to have more candidates. If we do want to expand the case, we're in hopes of doing what? Like in hopes to get an excellent qualifying candidate, we already have that. He continued, I feel it's personal. I feel like there's folks that do not want to see a specific person, whether that person, whether that be because they're a city councilor or for other reasons, not only from me, so that's how I feel. So I agree with the mayor, it appears to be personal. The stated arguments presented against appointing Mr. Wong are invalid arguments repudiated by logic and facts. Perhaps it is sometimes human nature to have a predetermined decision or position and then to seek rationalization to support it. I don't know if the councilors opposing Mr. Wong's appointments, I don't know the councilors very well, and I haven't worked closely with him over the last 2 years in public and private, but the mayor has. And he said, I feel like it's personal. I feel like there's folks that do not want to see a specific person. The mayor said the last meeting that he wanted to set an example by compromising to get things done. I think the example he set is, at that time, to the remaining incoming new city councilors is to have the backbone, to be upfront, open, honest, and candid, and fair. I think it would be incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to find an applicant more qualified than Mr. Wong. It is my hope that new council will make a selection to the planning commission based on fair and objective qualifications, and I hope that there will be sufficient public scrutiny and interest to motivate the newly seated council to do so. My time is up.
Of course,
Thank you for setting that example.
Thank you. Next up, we have Frank Archuleta.
Thank you, Council. I appreciate all the opportunities you have given me through all the years here. And staff here, I'm trying to explain this cemetery, what happened here. 3 years ago, I went to talk to Monty Stevenson for the Potter's Field area, where Henning had 100 plots down there. He could bury 4 people in a plot, in which they did. Not only that, what happened was they were digging up these babies there. I went to the Human Rights Commission. They wrote a letter to council. I gave you the letter. It went to Monty Stevenson to close that down, that area. Evidently, it wasn't shut down. So now, we're at the point right now where you come in with the underground radar survey for the rest of the cemetery. I want to explain something to you all. For 60 years, I have known grave diggers and clerks. And if there was overlapping, all they did was put a board there and they moved over a little bit. But spending $83,000 to survey the entire cemetery now, well, that's up to you all. You want to spend that money, evidently that's where you're going. But it wasn't necessary. We was asking for that bottom part of that cemetery where Henning had the plots, where the clerks didn't have no idea, they didn't keep track, and Henning, he either gave the clerks the information or he didn't. Who knows that part? But the city clerks should have went down, 4 blocks down, to the Henning mortuary to pick up the information to where those people were buried. And it was state law, by the way, 1907, 1901, 1941, that you had to put down on your maps or in your record books everybody that's buried. Not only that, take it to the clerks in Boulder, which Lafayette did not do. And that's why we are in the mess we're at right now, spending $83,000. But I'll say once again, all they ever did was just moved over a little bit as they dug and they hit a grave site. Spend $83,000 for, I don't know what, survey the entire cemetery. But not only that, people are angry right now. You claim there's 150 letters that went out. People can have 2, 3, 4 plots. They don't want to be buried in Louisville. They paid for them plots since the 70s and that. They jumped too fast. If you were going to do that survey, you should do the survey first. And then, how many people are going to die within 3 months? not that many. But now everybody's freaking out that owning the plots at that cemetery. It was a mistake, folks. It was a big mistake. Jumped to conclusions, went too fast on it. Whoever did it, staff or whoever did it, there's no reason for it. For the entire cemetery, like I say, I've known grave diggers 60 years now. And all they do, if there is an overlapping, just move over a little bit and then dig and put the next body right there. It's not right what happened, folks. It's not right. You have an awful lot of people angry right now. They don't want to be buried in Louisville if they die. On top of the hill up there. That is sacred ground. Our families have been in this community for 100 years here. And it's important to be with the rest of the family members. If I would die, I couldn't be buried? Don't make no damn sense at all. Not at all. I hope you all realize what happened here. If the city would only had the responsibility years ago for tracking the Hennings plots. And through all the records, we don't know if the city gave them plots or if he purchased them. It's in none of your records at all. We couldn't find it at all. That's sacred ground, folks. And if you folks would have been here years ago and you would have plots up there, you'd be feeling the same way right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next up we have Adam Gianola.
Good evening, Council. Adam Gianola, 311 North Cherrywood Drive. I'm here to talk about tonight's agenda item. I think it was C, which is the resolution regarding the city retirement plan. I read through this, through the agenda, as all good incoming folks should do. And I found some concerning language in here that I think council should address before this resolution is adopted. It is under number 5, and I'm going to read so that there's no confusion. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Lafayette, Colorado as follows. 5, delegation of authority to the city manager and chief financial officer. The city hereby authorizes the city manager and chief financial officer and their designees, B1, to individually or jointly take such actions as they deem proper and appropriate. Seems like that's a pretty broad authority being given to the city manager and the chief financial officer. I don't think that was what was intended. There are some qualifiers in some of the other parts of this resolution, and I think it's an easy fix to address this, put the same kind of qualifiers in to make clear that we're not giving blanket authority to the city manager, chief financial officer to take any actions that they deem proper and appropriate. Full stop. So I hope that you guys can address that tonight before that's enacted. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So I'm not seeing any more in-person speaker forms in front of me tonight. Are there any other members in person that would like to speak? All right. Let me double check to see if there are any callers online. I do not see any speakers online either, and so with that, I will close public input. And we will move forward with tonight's consent agenda. This includes several items, including item A, the November 18th, 2025 City Council meeting minutes. Item B, second reading of ordinance number 26, series 2025, providing for additional appropriations during fiscal year 2025 for unanticipated 2025 revenues and expenditures required for the City of Lafayette, specifically regarding modifications of current budget line items. Item C, resolution number 2025-80 regarding the city's retirement plans and other ancillary and related matters. Item D, contract for Epstein Urchin Architects Inc. EUA Arapahoe Center Architecture Design Services. Item E, contract with Gimli Horn and Associates Incorporated on call engineering services. Item F, change order number 2, Brennan Construction on call utility repair services. And item G, change order for number 2, American Company Goose Haven Reservoir Construction Supports. Council like to pull any items? Council Freeland.
May I pull C and D, please?
Okay, are there any other items that would like to be pulled for tonight? Can I get a motion to approve the balance, please?
I move to approve the balance of the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed. That passes unanimously. Okay, Councilor Freeland, guess we'll start with item C.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think as we heard from future Councilor Gianola, there's maybe some language we could consider for C, and I think the city attorney would like to speak to some minor revisions that were made to the resolution today, so.
Thank you, Councilor Fridlin. Yes, and thank you for forwarding Mr. Gianola's concerns about that language to us. We did have outside counsel for retirement and benefits assist us with drafting this resolution to help us take care of some of the tax and IRS regulation issues to make sure that we were compliant with certain regulations. And we did ask our outside counsel to take a look at some of the requested revisions, and they did get those back to us today. So I have put a copy of the resolution on the dais for each of the members of council that shows just a couple of pretty minor red lines, but they do address the language that was raised in public comment. But primarily, it's just they're minor changes to clarify that that authority is intended to be limited and to only deal with the city benefit plans. So that is before you. We would ask that council approve this resolution with those red line changes. And for the public's benefit, you'll be able to see those red lines. You'll see the revised ordinance in the final version that would be available from the city if you'd like to see what we did there. But they are pretty minor. They are isolated just for council's benefit. To page 2, there are subparagraphs A and B. And then on page 4, you will see those exact same changes in identical paragraphs A and B. So that's what we have in front of you tonight, and we do recommend that you approve it with those red lines.
And I guess any questions, I suppose?
Council Freeland, how do you feel about the city attorney's recommendation?
I think it seems very appropriate and appreciate the quick work.
We need a motion.
Yeah, we'll take a motion to approve item C.
I move to approve resolution number 2025-80 regarding the city's retirement plans and other ancillary and related matters.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed. That passes unanimously. Thank you. On to item D. Council Freeman.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. We had a member of the public that identified maybe a gap that we had in this one around requiring a certificate of appropriateness in that contract. And my understanding is that would basically entail a required review by the Historic Preservation Commission. And currently it's written, I believe, highly suggested, or something along those lines of please do this. And I think the resident's point is sound, that's fine, but we probably should just say very clearly this certificate of appropriateness is required rather than just please do this. I think especially in the conversations we've had around boards and commissions and how we want to make sure that they're included. I think this is a really great just mechanism to say, here's our process, please go complete it. I'm sure there's others on council that have more familiarity with that certificate, so I'd be very curious what others think. But I thought it was a fair point and wanted to raise it to council.
Good. So you looking for council support to make that amendment or adjustment?
Mayor.
City Attorney.
Thank you. Just to comment on that. So first of all, I would like it to be clear for council and for the member of the public who raised those concerns that we absolutely will and must follow our procedures for historic preservation and for the issuance of a certificate of appropriateness for any modifications made to a landmark structure in the city. So be assured that regardless of how the contract or the proposal reads, that's going to happen no matter what. And I do want to say that the proposal as attached to the contract does directly address the need for a certificate of appropriateness. I cannot personally speak to the qualifications of this architect, but it's my understanding that this selected contractor and architect has a great deal of established experience dealing with historic structures and understands both local landmarking regulations as well as the National Historic Landmarking regulations that do apply to this particular building. So we have, the city has selected someone, if council approves this contract, with the necessary experience and who's very aware of those requirements. So I wanted to provide that reassurance to council. I do think it's maybe not a necessary, it's not necessary to add anything to the contract because it does acknowledge that step needs to take place. And then our code would control even beyond that. But I just wanted to offer that it is accounted for and it will happen.
So I just want to make sure I'm understanding. So it was in the proposal and it is currently in the scope of work. It is also in the scope of work. It's required. Okay. Well then, sounds easy. Thank you for explaining that and thank you for hearing those concerns from our community.
So Councilor Freeland, would you like to make a motion?
I move to approve item D, the contract with Epstein Ewan Architects Incorporated, EUA, for the Arapahoe Center Architecture Design Services.
Second.
We have motion and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? None opposed. That passes unanimously. And that does wrap up our consent agenda for tonight. We have one item under regular business. This is item H, resolution number 2025-79, approving an intergovernmental funding agreement between Boulder County and the city of Lafayette and authorizing acceptance of a grant to provide trees to residents. This is pretty cool. We have our sustainability director here to get us started.
Good evening, Council. I am here requesting approval of an IGA with Boulder County to support and expand our tree canopy. So I will be providing some background information on Lafayette's tree canopy, reviewing the Growing Shade program overview, and also sharing some activities that we're going to be doing in 2026. So first things first, this program does align with the Climate Action Plan, specifically in the natural environment sector. We have a goal that states the city will protect and enhance Lafayette's tree canopy. Overall, we have 41% of land available for planting. We experienced a 3% tree canopy growth between 2013 and 2021. I did mention the first time I came to council about tree canopy, we are number one in that 8-year span. We also have an average canopy coverage of 14% here in the city. Some benefits of growing the tree canopy is it reduces surface temperatures, improves air quality, reduces runoff, increases water quality, reduces energy use, and also enhances tree equity. Tree equity is the practice of distributing tree canopy fairly across all neighborhoods to ensure that all residents have the access to the benefit of trees. And as a reminder, the city has participated with a Community Forestry Corps program in partnership with Play Boulder Foundation for the last 2 years. We have planted 43 trees in publicly owned spaces since the start of the program, and this program will also continue in 2026. Now I'll provide an overview of the Growing Shade program. It is a partnership with Play Boulder Foundation and a community-based organization where we'll plant 75 trees in neighborhoods that have low tree canopy, that's lower than 25%, experience high heat, and also are designated as an EnviroScreen disproportionately impacted census block. Those residents that do receive trees will have tree health checks for 2 to 3 years, where if a tree dies, We'll help them replace that tree. But ultimately, we want to educate and empower residents to take care of trees. So that will look like workshops geared towards winterization, how to wrap trees, and also providing tree care tools to residents that need them. The expected timeline for the program is to secure a community-based organization in the early new year. The program is expected to launch in April. There will be some tabling at Earth Day every day, and the expected tree pickup event will be on May 9th. And after that May 9th event, that's when all of the post-planting tree care education will happen. We are the second city that would be launching this program. Longmont launched this past year and have had really great success. As I mentioned, we do have other activities around protecting and enhancing our tree canopy. Staff did apply for the Boulder County Environmental Sustainability Matching Grant in the hope that that funding will support 3 activities. The first is the Growing Shade Program discussed tonight. We are also hoping to remove and replace ash trees at Sister Carmen. Emerald ash borer has affected those trees and they need replacement. And then lastly, a citywide tree inventory so that we can take a proactive and strategic approach to maintaining our trees. This will lead to a community urban forestry plan, which is really exciting, and also using a tool called iTree to place the value of Lafayette's trees. And with that, I will open it up to questions.
Hey, awesome. Well, thank you so much for that presentation. I'll turn it over to council now to see if there are any questions. Councilor Sampson.
I have a clarifying question. So you said 41% of the land is available for planting. Is that 41% of Lafayette? Is that 41% of the city-owned land?
That is overall the city of Lafayette.
Okay, and does that include like residential properties? Like
Yes.
my front yard, my backyard?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions from council or comments? Councilor Fried.
I think Dennis has come to us with tree information before too, and I was really excited because that was tree day. And here you are, and a second tree day in a year. I can't believe it. We're so lucky. So anyway, no questions. Thank you so much. It's awesome. Really appreciate it. And can't wait for 3 tree days next year. Thank you.
All right. Councilor Barnes.
Thank you, Mayor. I got to pile on. This is amazing. Like, I imagine that we get to some point of providing more shade. Like, it's one of those elements that former Mayor Harkins was dreaming about. Could we actually do something to address the tree canopy in the city? And you're doing it. So thank you so much. This is not an easy lift, but everything you seem to do is amazing. So I greatly appreciate it. I have one question. How do trees improve water quality?
Of course. So when it rains, there's a lot of pollutants that come off cars, and trees will actually filter those pollutants out of the water before entering our streams or going into the sewers to go to our water rec plant.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Okay. Anything else? All right. Well, thank you so much for that presentation and for all the hard work you've done for the city. So appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we do have a motion if someone feels ready.
I move to approve resolution number 2025-79, approving an intergovernmental funding agreement between Boulder County and the city of Lafayette and authorizing acceptance of a grant to provide trees to residents.
Second.
Motion and a second has been made. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Say no. None opposed. That passes unanimously. Thank you so much. Okay, that wraps up regular business for tonight, which brings us to our final item. This is recognition of our outgoing counselors. As you all might remember, Mayor Pro Tem Wong did complete his final in-person meeting at our last meeting, so we had the opportunity to recognize him. Tonight we do have Councilor Sampson as well as myself departing the council, and so I would like to, and we do have a proclamation for you as well, Councilor Sampson. So if it's okay with you, if we could read that in and vote that.
You don't want me to read it for myself?
Unless you want to.
Totally kidding.
Yeah, so Councilor Friedland, if you want to, or Councilor Barnes, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, is that okay?
Thank you. Yeah.
proclamation honoring Nicole Sampson's service on the Lafayette City Council, December 2nd, 2025. Whereas after serving on the Planning Commission, Nicole Sampson was elected to the Lafayette City Council for a 4-year term in 2021. And whereas during her tenure, Councilor Sampson served as a liaison to several city boards, commissions, and committees, including the Cultural Arts Board, Historic Preservation Commission, and One Lafayette Committee. And whereas a leader in the field of policy and legislation, Councilor Sampson thoughtfully and diligently represented the city of Lafayette as a member of the Colorado Municipal League Policy Committee, helping guide statewide policy to work in partnership with local municipalities. And whereas while on City Council, Councilor Sampson has contributed to several transformative projects and initiatives, including the implementation of a dedicated sales and use tax to support mental health and human services for Lafayette residents, investment in over 250 units of permanently affordable housing, regulations allowing and accessory dwelling units to promote housing diversity, and significant investments in Lafayette's water system and water storage. And whereas Councilor Sampson has always demonstrated thoughtful and equitable decision-making for Lafayette residents, and whereas the city of Lafayette and its residents will reap the benefits of Councilor Sampson's dedicated service for years to come, now therefore, the mayor and the city council of the city of Lafayette, Colorado do hereby commend and honor Councilor Nicole Sampson for her dedicated service to the Lafayette City Council and community. So moved.
Second.
All right, a motion and second on that proclamation. Before we vote this in, I think this is appropriate time for any council comments or discussion on this item. Who would like to start? Councilor Gallegos.
I just wanted to say thank you. It's been such a pleasure working with you the past 2 years. I appreciate all of your institutional knowledge on everything. I love how anytime we're talking about grants or anything state-related or House Bill-related, you always have something thoughtful to add. So I'm going to miss you very much, and good luck in the future.
Thank you.
Other councilors? Councilor Friedland.
I didn't really know you at all before starting this journey. Sorry, but I just have to say you are such an impressive person. You are so passionate. You are so just sharp about so many different things. You think about things in such a rational, logical way, and we're gonna miss you. You do a great job up here. I really appreciate what you do. And yeah, I wish you the very best. I know you're going to go do amazing things at all the next chapters that you're going to have. And I just appreciate that you shared some time with us and helped this community. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Barnes.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to thank you for all of the sacrifices that you've made over these times, and thank you for. I could tell many times that you were biting your lip because there were just so many things that were really, really frustrating. So thank you for doing what everyone does on this council, and that is doing your best to make the right decisions for the city, whether you feel 100% for that or not. And when you didn't, you let us know. So I thank you for your honesty. I thank you for your sacrifice. I'm going to miss you on this council. So feel free to come in anytime you'd like. It seems to be a place where we get to go once we've left. And it will be greatly appreciated by at least me, and I think all the rest of the councilors here when you're in the space. So thank you for your commitment.
Thank you.
Councilor Tapia Vega.
Thank you. I've served with you now for 2 years. It's incredible how much I've learned from you. The expertise you have on things is just something that I wish I will one day have. It will take me a very long time to know as much as you on some subjects. But there's a lot of things I love about serving with you. But one of them is I know that when you raise your hand, we're going to talk about policy, and it's going to be something that matters. I think back, there was one, I believe it was the same meeting, we both pulled We both pulled one item from consent agenda, and we both pulled it for one word within like a 450-page packet.
Yeah.
And I realized, oh, okay, me and Counselor Sampson are the same person. We're looking at every single word of this packet. So I just appreciate all your expertise and everything you brought to council, and I've loved serving with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, for me, Counselor Sampson, I will reiterate what I mentioned earlier at the previous meeting. Thank you for empowering me, and thank you for putting your trust, not just within me, but within this council, and being supportive and being at the right places at the right time and filling all the spots that we needed your support in. I would not be in the position I am if it wasn't for you, but not just because of your support, but you also have the confidence and the ability to give me constructive criticism and tell me or give me suggestions on what you think I should do. And oftentimes it's different from the majority of people that are being supportive. You have the ability to just be straight up and honest and say, JD, like, I think this is wrong, you should try this instead. Or you always have given me the ability to open different perspectives that I didn't think were there. I always joke around sometimes, oftentimes staff will present us with options like, okay, your options are 1, 2, or 3. And Counselor Sampson will be like, there's always a door 4. There's always something else. There's always something else that isn't right in front of us that we can't see directly. So thank you for providing that perspective. Thank you for being there as a support system, but also as a thought partner. And the council, if it's okay with you, I know you have some words you'd like to share as well, but afterwards, we'd love to do a photo with you, and with your plaque there. But I do want to give the floor to you because this is your moment. I want to make sure you have the opportunity to share your thoughts on your experience on council.
Sure. Well, thank you. I'm standing up.
Okay.
Just feels right to stand up. So my experience on city council has been a lot like being in The Wizard of Oz. At the beginning of the movie, Dorothy was caught in a tornado. And when her house stopped turning, she found herself in Oz, a lively Technicolor world. That is what it's like when you go from being a voting resident to a sitting city council member. As a resident, everything seems so simple, so black and white. Just consider the options and just vote. But once on council, one starts to see the colors or the reasons why issues are presented to the council in a certain way, or why the elected officials can only take on specific information into consideration. Now, once Dorothy was in Oz, she met some friendly and interesting characters. I, too, have had the great opportunity to meet some wonderful residents of Lafayette along my journey as a council member. Some who have provided terrific perspectives and information that made a difference in my votes on issues. In fact, I said, there were times I came in, I read all the information, I was sure how I was going to vote, but then there was somebody that came up to the podium and gave some public input, and I thought, now that's something I should also consider, and I changed my vote. So I want you all to know how important that is to City Council. Dorothy also met some jovial people of Munchkinland who provided her with direction to follow the yellow brick road to reach her goal. Like Dorothy, I am grateful of the boards and commissions and the people who sit on those, who provide feedback and input and guidance to City Council. You truly are also an important part of this story. Now, Dorothy met the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion. These are all characters who had a shared mission that became her friends along the journey. And I can honestly say, I have known several council members who also shared my mission and moved forward, as well as staff members who have all helped us. We've all moved this city forward on this. I also want to shout out to a lot of people who have sat, who are not even sitting up here. Stephanie Walton, Anise Madrano, Carolyn Cutler, the list goes on, of the wonderful council members who I've sat with, served with, or who have been great mentors to me. Now, I may not have saved Lafayette from two wicked witches during my terms on council, but I'm quite proud of a lot of the other things that I've been able to contribute to this city. I've used my knowledge of federal funds to provide information to city staff on how to use the ARPA funding to fill in a gap for funding Willoughby Corner. I've used my skills in grant development to help create a health and human services grant program and a water assistance program. I was happy to use my skills in government processes to write the request for proposals and facilitate getting that RFP out to bid so we could hire a search firm and fill the vacancy in our city manager position. I also remember talking to Fritz 6 years ago about creating an in-house city attorney position and team. And I am thrilled that I was on city council to see that realized. I'm glad I was able to use my knowledge of how to find and read city code and make suggestions on amending the code that applies to several city boards and commissions. Many of that code was confusing and out of date, and many of the boards were not sure, what is my role? What is not my role in this? I also value the time I was the Lafayette liaison on the Northwest Parkway Authority Board of Directors and the opportunity I had to sit on the Colorado Municipal League Executive Board, both of which I could not have done if I was not on council. And also, I am glad I had the opportunity to work with the local businesses to develop a special tax district. So as I leave this role, I have some parting gifts for the new council members and those that are staying on. So like at the end of The Wizard of Oz, there were gifts given out, and I will share these with everybody so you will know. First of all is a Medal of Courage, because it takes a lot of courage to run for city council. It takes a lot of courage to sit up here. It takes courage to say a motion. And one of those things, it was one of those things that as new council members would come on, I would elbow them under the table and say, I'm going to make the motion, you make the second. Just so they would have the courage to start getting to the point where they could speak in public, whether it's a motion or saying this is what I believe in. So whenever you are nervous, remember this Medal of Courage is here for you. You will also get a heart, because being up here takes empathy. When you get information to vote on, you have to make a decision on how is this going to impact everybody in the community. Not just people that look like me or act like me, but people who are also in this community and live in a different part of the community or have other challenges. You have to really put your heart into it and try to understand what it's like standing in their shoes. And last, this is less exciting, but this is not a certificate or a diploma like the Scarecrow got, but what this is this is a list of quotes from past presidents of the United States. And these quotes talk about being thoughtful in your decisions, seeking out comprehensive and balanced review of information before forming a judgment on an issue. And I will say, you don't need to be an expert on everything. When I first got on council, one of the things I said is, there is no way any one of us is going to know everything. So instead, each one of us have to dig deep into a certain topic area. And we have to lean on each other and trust one another when we are moving forward with these issues. And we have to be thoughtful in that. And I have to say, I want you all to have the courage, the heart, and the confidence to be that, to be thoughtful and empathetic as you go forward. So, as I say goodbye, I'm going to click my heels 3 times and say, there is no place like home. Oh, a photo. Okay.
Photo, if that's okay.
Yep. You want this?
Do we need to vote on the motion?
Oh, let's
have
do the
to
motion
vote.
first.
I was gonna
Sorry,
say,
I
I thought you
apologize.
had to vote.
We do have a motion and a second on that proclamation. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? None opposed. That's unanimous. Thank you.
Okay, we'll do a photo. For you. I'll hand it in.
Movie did you quote in your speech?
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right. So because I have not handed this in yet, this is my letter of resignation, by the way, which I am planning on doing so very soon. Technically, I don't have, there's no proclamation for me, which I don't deserve it anyways. But, and there's really, this is sort of a different agenda item in a sense. So I was just wondering if it was okay for council if I used this kind of in between before adjournment as sort of like unofficial council comments for my parting words for you all. Would that be right? Sure. Okay, thank you. So I know there's been, a lot of talk of what is JD gonna do? When is he gonna resign and all that? But I would like to just be very transparent up front and to let you guys know that this is my last meeting. So, and when I say last, I mean part one of this meeting. I am planning to deliver my letter of resignation right here to our city clerk. After I'm done speaking, afterwards I will adjourn the meeting, or I will adjourn the meeting first, then I'll do that, and then we'll swear in our new counselors. And then it'll be your moment to speak. So as I depart, I just had a few things that I'd like to say, and I'd like to just start off, and I will get emotional. By the way, this is like one of those things that I speak to my middle schoolers about, especially the, already started. And I've done this many times up here, so I'm used to it. But especially to the young men and boys in my room, because a lot of them, like, there's like, they get so upset to like cry or to actually show emotion. But for me, it's like, it's very easy because I have, of course, there's like an element of self-confidence that comes with it, but a lot of experience doing it. But like, my hope is, like, there's a reason why you have a lot of like pent-up anger and frustration, right? Within young people or young men, and specifically, that ultimately will lead to like violence, things like that. And so, when I stand up, and I do this in my class from one of my former students in the back, but it's so like I have no issue crying or getting upset, right? Or not, it's not upset, sorry, being emotional in front of people on TV, on camera. Does not bother me at all whatsoever. In fact, I encourage it. And that's why I do it. And so that was all just like to preface what I actually wanted to say is like, much like many of the people that are also here in the audience, I grew up here in the city of Lafayette. It is my hometown. Like, as I was younger, my family and I, we spent a lot of time like interacting with community services. And I have mentioned this briefly before, but like as I was younger, my sister who's here tonight, my cousins, and my friends, we experienced a lot of city services, but from the perspective of the recipient, as opposed to the deliverer. Like as a city council or city staff member might be younger, we would go to the library, right? Read those books and get those lakeside passes. And then, by the way, I'm perfectly okay. As I had a chance to chat with the police chief just yesterday when our sister city mayor, Mayor Chong, came to visit, and they were discussing the Santa Cop program, which is also something that continues to go on, that
that our family got to benefit from as kids. And so like, and then when I was in the 8th grade, got hit by a car, and that car was a public works truck for the city of Lafayette. So many interactions, both positive and negative, with the city. By the way, if anyone knows that gentleman, tell him I forgive him. So those were like our first interactions with the city. And then as you get older, as I became like, I graduated high school and got more involved in the community, you start to see the perspective of city services, not from the recipient standpoint, but from the hard work and the labor that it takes from city staff and the passion that it takes from city councilors to push these initiatives forward and to make sure that they become core memories for members of the community that could truly benefit from them. And as I got older, as I started to see the full circle, the full picture, you also start to determine like how can you, at least for me personally, I've felt like passionate about how do you continue that circle of like a member of council or a member of staff determining a city program that the public could benefit from, it getting voted on and getting support from the public, and then passing it on to the community. And then you start to realize, like, oh, one of those ways that you can be involved in that circle of fulfillment is through getting involved in public office, whether that's coming through to the city council meetings, to the 5-minute public comment, whether it's applying for a job within the city, or whether it's like running for council. And the only reason I ran for council or even had the thought of it was through support from others, from other people empowering me to make that decision. It was funny when I first got on council, people were like even online or whatever, a person would like come up with these theories or conspiracy theories or whatever, like why I was running for office. And it was all BS because at the end of the day, it was through the empowerment of others. So I'm gonna talk for a little bit, but it's my last meeting. Just let me. You won't hear from me for a while after this. It was the empowerment of others. For example, a couple people I want to shout out. First, it was Elena Verveer, who, as many of you know, is the facilitator for the Lafayette Youth Advisory Commission, and encourages and still does, as she continues to instruct at the University of Colorado Boulder. It promotes empowerment and sort of this reconstruction lens of how we view society, not as participants, but how do we reconstruct it and change it for the betterment of all through equity-based lens, but just through overall, like, what is straight up fair and in kind and what is not. And she encouraged me to run. My first election, right when I graduated college, I was 21, had no idea what I was talking about, what I was doing. Still don't. And she was like, just run. And I was like, oh, we'll see. And then we were at an event together, sitting, and it was like one of the city, one of the PET program, one of their unveilings for the work they were doing. And she just stood up and started telling people I was running for office. Before I said, I was like, before I declared, she's like, he's gonna run. This is JD's gonna run, and told council members, and like I was like, well, I guess I'm running. So it was like, yeah, but that's empowerment. That's what that is. That's empowerment.
And then you have to obviously get support beyond one other, right? You need like your family. So my sister. My sister was all about being supportive and telling me the smart thing to do, as opposed to what's like the political maneuver that like a lot of people try to influence me with. But just being there as the a light as what's the right path. Obviously, some of you have met my mother and my father, who run the liquor store down the street. Kindest, most supportive family ever. So if they say, JD, resign or like step down, then it's like, okay, I'm gonna listen to that. Obviously, my friends that are here are supportive as well. In the back too, we're at capacity at this point. But my cousin, obviously. Booker, and my friends Carlos, Gernam, my cousin Neil, Naveen, everyone who showed up tonight. Appreciate you. Some of you are like, shut up already. If we got some of you have to take my seat, but I just wanted to make sure that I really took my final moments to shout the people out that deserved it. Obviously, my fellow counselors. Councilor Barnes, you are so incredibly kind and genuine and pure and not corrupted by all this political BS that surrounds these positions. And so I appreciate that. Councilor Friedland, you are so driven to learn and to improve yourself, and you're like studying and learning all these, you're going in depth on issues that you weren't as familiar with before you got elected. So I appreciate your ambition and your ability to just dive deep into it. Councilor Gallegos, you are like such like, anytime I have doubt or like I worry about like, oh, should I have done this, should I not? You are there to be like my support and be like, no, JD, like to be someone that I can trust and actually, like, when you say something, actually believe what you're saying. And so thank you for being that authentic support for me. Councilor Sampson, I already told you how awesome you are. Councilor Tapia Vega, even, it feels weird to say this, but you remind me of a lot of myself. Like, when I first got on council, I was, like, questioning a lot of things. I was like, this is inefficient. Like, why are we doing this? This doesn't make sense. This is a waste of time. But you're not coming at it from like a critical standpoint. You're coming at it from like an improvement. Like, how do we like focus on the right things that are actually important? And to all city staff, I already had a moment to chat with you and give you gifts. And so I will continue to say that you do the actual work. So many elected officials will take credit for everything and say, I did this, I pushed for this, that's great. And there is often times where that is true. The council member does push and the council member does do a lot of work. But at the end of the day, the day-to-day work is staff. They are the ones putting their feet on the ground, pounding the pavement, doing the hard work that it takes to accomplish a lot of what we direct. Shout out to all the other former members of council. Councilor Walton, thank you for being here. Shout out to Christine Berg for being a mentor of mine. Former Mayor Chris Berry, former Mayor Frank Phillips, former Mayor Alexander Lynch, former Mayor Bob Berger, who used to pick me up from elementary school when I was 5th grade, 4th grade. Every day he would pick my sister and I up. And shout out to the community for electing a young person who at the time didn't have that resume for believing in me and supporting me. That was very long, I know, but I want to make sure I didn't, leave anything behind, be at my last council meeting, and so thank you to you all. Shout out to the judge, by the way. I saw you there to make sure I shout you out because you have done a lot of hard work in terms of creating reform in our justice program here. So thank you to you. Thank you to you all, to the community. I'm very happy to support future Counselor Jensen, future Counselor Gianola. I think you guys are going to do amazing work in these seats. I'll be here as a resource. I'll be here to support you. I'll be here I still have my email for a couple days, so I'm happy to I got to work a little bit, shout out to you all. Thank you so much for your support. And thank you for for believing in me and for empowering me. It's truly been an honor. Thank you to the City of Lafayette. I appreciate it. So for the final time, meeting adjourned.
All right, if you could raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Crystal Gallegos,
I, Crystal Gallegos,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Lafayette,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Lafayette,
and faithfully perform the duties
and faithfully perform the duties
of the office of City Council Member,
of the office of City Council Member,
into which I am about to enter.
into which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Here's one.
So here and here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. And then this one, and then is for you, and then it's your certificate.
Perfect, thank you.
And you're welcome. Congratulations. Do we want to take a seat on the dais or stay in the gallery for now? Stay in the gallery. Next is Adam Gianola. Hi. All right, if you could raise your right hand. I, Adam Gianola,
I, Adam Gianola,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Lafayette,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Lafayette,
and faithfully perform the duties
and faithfully perform the duties
of the office of City Council Member,
of the office of City Council Member,
into which I'm about to enter.
into which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Two copies, one for the city and then one's for you. And this is also your certificate of election. You're welcome. All right. Good evening.
Hi.
All right. You could raise your right hand. I, Anne Marie Jensen,
I, Anne Marie Jensen,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Lafayette,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Lafayette,
and faithfully perform the duties
and faithfully perform the duties
of the office of City Council Member,
of the office of City Council Member,
into which I am about to enter.
into which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so 2 copies. This is for the city and that's for you. Okay, and so this is your copy, and underneath is the certification of the election. All right, thank you. You're welcome. All right, where is Councilor Tapia? Behind me. Hiding.
Yes.
All right, if you could raise your right hand. I, Saul Tapia Vega,
I, Saul Tapia Vega,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Lafayette,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Lafayette,
and faithfully perform the duties
and faithfully perform the duties
of the office of City Council Member,
of the office of City Council Member,
into which I am about to enter.
into which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations. This copy is for the city, and that copy is for you. then that's the election results. You're welcome. Congratulations again.
Where do you want it? At our chair?
Probably not at the chair break, because it'll be, I'll have actually Sebastian coordinate, or is Natalie? Yeah. So come out along here, Mary Lynn and I will join you guys after. We can probably, moving the chairs, Natalie, a better option.
Yeah, I think we should move.
We could have one group sitting and then.
Yeah, and they're enough, so, yeah.
We'll get a move because of water and the hand sanitizer. You had some
We
in
gotta do
front and
layers.
some in back
Yeah.
the last time. Do you want layers?
Let's have one like this. Yes.
Take a knee.
Remove that,
No.
computer.
No. Do you want to split?
Not doing it.
So can you please click your weapon? Sure.
Look at first Sebastian out here.
The big.
Okay, good, thanks.
Sebastian with the two, last bit on either side.
Yes.
Okay. What do you want to say?
We did layers.
Yeah, let's sit in, I think it will be good.
Two? Yep. Okay. Who would like to sit?
Staff.
Yeah.
Okay, Mary Lynn
Looking
and I?
over your shoulder.
You guys should.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that some of the council should sit and then
Okay.
you both on
Yep.
the sides. So we can have like two
Well,
or three.
Crystal and I will sit because there are two of us.
The ladies, that's a good idea.
Can you two please move a little bit to
Like at
the
an
side? No, a little bit more here, a little bit more. Right there, perfect. Okay, big smile, the last one. Awesome,
Can we
thanks.
do a silly one?
All right, do a silly one. Fun one. A silly one. Let's do a silly one. Ready?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Now what? We sit in our chairs?
Yep.
Or are we gonna Photoshop it in? Whoever the new one is. Okay, thank you. Hold my hand. Oh, good.
Oh, they left me an agenda. They were good. We're gonna have to share.
There is one here. No one's gonna be there for a while, right? So we have the
I will call to order the meeting of the new Lafayette City Council. If you'd, I invite you all to join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll start with the roll call. Counselor Barnes?
Here.
Counselor Friedland?
Here.
Counselor Gallegos,
Good evening.
Counselor Gianola,
Here.
Counselor Jensen,
Here.
and Counselor Tapia Vega.
Here.
We have a quorum. So now I'd like to ask City Attorney Mcsala for comments about selecting a temporary chair to run the first part of the meeting.
Thank you, City Clerk. So good evening to our new council. Just for the public's benefit and for transparency purposes, the reason that we had our city clerk open the meeting tonight is because we currently have no mayor or mayor pro tem from the prior council term to open the meeting. So that's in our that's in our council rules of procedure as a way to get our meetings open when we don't have a presiding officer. In addition, because we do not have a presiding officer, council, per our council handbook, you will need to select a temporary chair this evening. I did email all of you to give you a heads up about this procedure. I used the term presiding officer, but our handbook does call it the temporary chair. So you do have a little handout in front of you that has some more language about the temporary chair, but it is your first responsibility this evening to select one of you to chair the first part of our meeting until you elect a new mayor. And then once that mayor is elected, that individual will preside over the remainder of the meeting, including the mayor pro tem election. So this temporary chair's primary role will be to chair the meeting while you're doing your election of the mayor. I did want to note for council that the fact that you might be nominated for mayor or mayor pro tem later this evening, that does not disqualify you from also serving as temporary chair. So just know that that's not a problem if that does take place. And then finally, once you do select a temporary chair, I will jump in one more time to give an overview of the procedure for nominating and electing your mayor and mayor pro tem, and then the rest will be for you all to take care of. But we just wanted to let the public know why we have this unusual procedure at the beginning of our meeting. And so with that, council, if you would proceed to discuss who you'd like to be your temporary chair.
I'd like to nominate Crystal for temporary chair. Does it require a second?
It doesn't require a second, but are there any other nominations?
Would like to nominate Councilor Gianola as temporary chair. So we could do motions, I suppose, or we could discuss to a consensus.
How do you feel, Crystal?
I'm happy to do it unless you'd like to.
I'll defer.
Okay, I'm happy to do it.
All right, so there appears to be a consensus to select Counselor Gallegos as the temporary chair. Are there any objections? Okay.
Nope.
I heard no objections. Council has selected Counselor Gallegos as the temporary chair.
Okay. So thank you, council. And before you jump into the next part of your meeting, I am going to provide an overview of the process required by our charter and tradition for selecting a mayor and mayor pro tem, and more accurately, I should say, for electing, because you will, as council, elect your mayor and mayor pro tem this evening. Okay, so for the public's information, the election requirements for mayor and mayor pro tem are set out in our home rule charter in section 4.4. That provision requires that the election for mayor and mayor pro tem occur at the first meeting of a new council after the election results are certified, so that is tonight's meeting, and also that that election be by written ballot, and that the mayor and mayor pro tem be selected by a majority of the members of council in office at the time. We do have 6 council members in office right now, and so that will require a vote of 4 councilors to elect your mayor and mayor pro tem. Pursuant to our charter, the mayor and mayor pro tem are elected for a term that expires at the first meeting after the next city council regular election, which will be in November of 2027. So now I'm going to explain the nomination and election process. So first, your temporary chair will open the floor for nominations for mayor. Nominations do not require a second, and councilors may be nominated more than once. Each councilor making a nomination for themselves or another councilor may state the reasons for their nomination at the time the nomination is made, but is not required to do so. Any counselor who does not make a nomination will have an opportunity to speak to the nominations before they are closed, if you wish, but you are not required to do so. Nominations are not subject to debate or rebuttal, and counselors may only speak once per nomination. Before taking the first nomination, the temporary chair will seek consensus from council on whether to place a time limit on how long each counselor may speak regarding a nomination, including their own. If you are nominated but do not wish to accept the nomination, you must let the rest of council know before nominations are closed. In addition, note that you may vote for any member of council regardless of whether they are nominated. Once nominations are closed, the city clerk will pass out slips of paper for your vote. You may only vote for one counselor on your ballot. After you have voted, the city clerk will collect and tally the votes and announce the results immediately. The city manager and I will observe the counting of ballots. A counselor receiving 4 or more votes will be declared elected as mayor by the city clerk. If we go through the process and no counselor receives at least 4 votes, the city clerk will announce the final tally and declare that no counselor received a majority of votes. The temporary chair will then start the process over, beginning with nominations. Once a mayor is declared elected, the temporary chair will turn over the meeting to the newly elected mayor, who will then preside over the election of the mayor and mayor pro tem. The same nomination and election process will then be repeated for the election of the mayor pro tem. So council, now is your opportunity to ask any questions. Before I take questions, I did want to let you know that your temporary chair will have a script that follows this procedure that I just summarized, and the newly elected mayor will also have a script. So you won't be going it alone. But now I'd like to take any questions if you have any regarding that process.
Can you just clarify what join another counselor's nomination means? Basically, is that a concurrence with the nomination, basically?
Wait, see, which part again? I'm sorry.
If you wish to accept, join, or decline.
Oh, join. So if Counselor X nominates Counselor A, Counselor Y could also join in that nomination. They could just, Counselor Y could speak up and say, I also nominate Counselor A. That's truly all it means.
And once there's a nomination, do each of us speak in regards to our feeling on the nomination? Yes.
Yes.
Just clarifying that. Okay, thank you.
Would we like to have a time limit in regards to nominations?
No, I don't care.
So if there are no further questions for the city attorney about the process, I will now open the floor for nominations for mayor. Before we begin, does council wish to place a time limit on nomination statements?
On statements, yeah, I think 2 minutes on statements per person. That seem like enough?
I don't know if we need a limit. I feel like we're all gonna be respectful of the time, just
Okay.
generally, do you think?
Okay.
So 2 minutes or no time limit?
I think no time limit, that's fine.
Okay. The floor is open for nominations for mayor. As a reminder, each counselor may speak once to make nominations, and nominations are not subject to debate or rebuttal. Would anyone like to make a nomination for mayor? So if I'd like to make a nomination, do I have a special script for that, or?
No.
Okay.
Excuse me. Nope, you can just make your nomination.
Okay, so I would like to nominate Councilor Tapia Vega for mayor. I've really enjoyed working with him the past 2 years. I enjoyed working with him to a much deeper degree through the campaign process. I'm very impressed with his knowledge of Lafayette as a lifelong resident. I value the fact that he grew up here throughout all of the changes, and I do think representation matters. So therefore, I would like to nominate Councilor Tapia Vega. Are there any further nominations?
Do we speak to that nomination after it's been made, or we go to additional nominations?
That's the
I think we go
next
to additional nominations.
step.
You can do either. You can make more nominations, or you may speak up and speak to a nomination.
So we make additional nominations first and then we speak to both of them, or we speak to one and then we do another and we speak to? Either way is fine? Doesn't matter?
Either
It's up
way
to
is
us.
fine.
How would council like to handle that? Speak to that nomination first or entertain additional nominations?
I think we should entertain additional.
Okay. I would like to make a nomination if I may.
Yes.
Thank you. I would like to nominate Councilor Barnes for mayor. I have a few reasons that I'd like to share with the group why I think he would be a good mayor. The first one is Councilor Barnes has been on this council for a long time, 6 years. He's been a strong contributor on this council. He has a level of familiarity because of that with how the city works, how to be effective in the mayoral role should he be supported, what should be prioritized about what we're interested in, and I think that really helps him, right? He has quite a bit of experience. Additionally, I would say that while supporting the person who's interested and been on council for the longest has not necessarily been a recent norm, I think it's one that is supported historically on this council, and I think it's an important one. I think it shows deference to those who've been on council, for the longest time if they're well qualified and interested in the role. I think it's an important norm that we should consider, and I think it shows respect to the contributions of those who have seen more and help us. I think also show a level of just humility that there's more to learn. I think also for those of us that have been in for only 2 years or just beginning, there's going to be future chances. And so having someone who's been here for 6 years, going his final 2 years of 8 years, it's important to give that person their chance, I think, if they're, qualified and interested in the role. I'll also say that Councilor Barnes is a strong communicator. It's what he does professionally. It's a strong skill for his, and I think it's an important for the mayor to have. He explains complex ideas extremely well and literally is a professional at effective communication. I would say too that he has repeatedly brought new ideas to the past years, this council that just ended, at our workshops. And I think that shows that he can identify gaps, identify opportunities, and try to help the council fill those and act on those. He's extremely engaged at our council meetings on a variety of topics. He really asks great questions consistently and is deliberative when faced with tough choices. Also, I've seen firsthand his strong engagement with committees, which I think we all value and is very important to me at least. As a former board member, before being on council with Tim as the liaison at that time, and also, being involved with him during the planning and the execution of the boards and commissions chairs conversation that we just had this fall, he has a really high regard for engagement from our boards. And I think in turn that means, he values the input of our community really, really highly. I think also he rethinks things. He doesn't simply make a decision and then it's over. Councilor Barnes is an eager learner, and he's always looking to grow and rethink things. I think he intentionally seeks out differing opinions and is deliberate in his decisions. Former Mayor Monget touched on this a bit. Councilor Barnes' emotional intelligence is extremely high. It's most readily noticeable in the kindness that he shows towards others, but I think it's a lot deeper than that actually. He's astute in his understanding of others, and repeatedly to me has exhibited extremely high emotional intelligence. I think finally, as I've known Tim, and especially over these past few weeks, he's, I think, exhibited to me, focus on what's in the best interest of this community and this council, in his willingness to be open to others and what others want. And I think his willingness to defer to others, be open to others in that way, it's because he wants to help satisfy their desires, their needs, And to me, that sounds like the right chair for this council, somebody who's trying to find that. So I know that was long, I apologize, but I would like to submit that nomination.
Are there any further nominations?
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to join on the nomination from Councilor Friedland.
Does any counselor who has not made a nomination wish to speak to a nomination? Does anyone else wish to speak to a nomination who has not already spoken?
Can I speak?
Yes, Counselor Tapia Vega.
Thank you, and I will speak to my own nomination. First and foremost, thank you. I truly am grateful and just honored to be nominated. As I was sitting here the last couple of minutes, kind of listening, trying to figure out what I'm going to say, and my partner would be incredibly annoyed at me for not preparing anything, but here we are. Thinking what comes to my head, what should I say? And for whatever reason, there's a million things going through my head, but there's one that I can't get out of my head. It's stuck in there, so I think I'll share it with you. And more than anything, it's a memory. So we'll go back in time here, back to the 5th grade, and you all know me very well, so you know that the 5th grade. To get to my grade classroom, you don't have to go very far. It's right down Public Road at Pioneer Elementary School. I grew up here, so Escuela Bilingüe Pioneer is where I went to elementary school. But I think the reason that moment is coming back to me is because it was very similar. So picture 5th grade Saul. He was learning about government, and our teacher wanted to kind of teach us about elections. So what funner way to do it than to have an election within the class? So we ran an election for 5th grade president. And similar to today, I was also a candidate in that election. And very similar to today, I was also nominated by one of my colleagues to be a candidate within that election. So running for 5th grade class president at Pioneer Elementary School. I thought at the time, this is certainly the most important election of my life. The thing that I really remember, however, and the thing that's stuck in my brain is as we were gearing up to the big day, to election day, we had a special visitor in our class. And I remember sitting in class, and this man came in, sat in the back. We had no idea who he was until our teacher brought him up and said, "Students, this is the mayor of Lafayette." And I almost fell out of my chair. I was so excited. It was the coolest moment of my life. 5th grade Saul gets to meet the mayor. The mayor is in my school, in my class. I think it took 2 hours before the teacher could shut me up. I was asking every possible question. I wouldn't let anyone else ask any questions because I wanted to know so much. And I had, from that moment, there's many instances in my life that I can point to that really make me who I am, but that is certainly the catalyst for my love and passion for public service, meeting the mayor in my 5th grade class. And that day, of course, I realized how much admiration and respect I have for the role of the mayor. And not much has changed. I mean, I hope some has changed since 5th grade, but not much has changed. I have so much admiration and so much respect for the role of the mayor. To me, the role of the mayor, of course, it is a ceremonial seat. Every mayor is. It's the presiding officer for council, of course. But to me, more than that, the mayor he's a facilitator. The mayor is an advocate for the rest of council, and more than anything, he's a partner to every member of council. Whatever initiatives are to be pushed, whatever initiatives are to be brought from the candidates that make it onto this dais, it is the mayor's job to work alongside them and try to make sure that we are working toward a better city. And what better city to work toward than the city of Lafayette, the city that we'll know and love. I could talk about what I did in my first term, and I could sit here for hours and talk about the amazing work that a lot of the people on this dais have worked on. I could talk about the tenets of my campaign and the pillars that I ran on my campaign, and the reason that I believe the city of Lafayette voted for me to remain on this council. But really what I want to talk about is, and what I want to talk to is my fellow councilors. We're embarking on this journey. The next 2 years are very important. We have a bright future as a city. We have so much potential, but that future is in our hands. What we do today will dictate what our future looks like, will dictate what the next 30, 40, 50 years will look like, both in terms of the city, in terms of growth, in terms of sustainability, and in terms of building a resilient city. And what I want to do is stand by every member of this council. I know each of you for a few reasons. A few of you I have sat on council with for the last 2 years, and a few of you I know through the campaign, walking doors with you, having events with you. And I've come to respect every single one of you, and there's so much there's so much commonalities in what we want in the city. There's so much common ground. But I think even if we disagree on things, we've always been able to come to a respectful disagreement. We've always been able to find common ground. And I think the overall common ground for me is just building a stronger, more resilient Lafayette, a better Lafayette for our residents, and serving the residents, the constituents that call this place home. As mayor, that would be what I would do. I would work alongside you, I would partner with you, and I would make sure that we build a better tomorrow for the people who were like me, right? If you went back in time and you told that 5th grade Saul, you will not just serve on city council, you will be in contention for the mayor's seat. Someone will nominate you like they did in 5th grade to the mayor's seat. That 5th grader would not have believed you. I would not have believed you. That kid, there's no chance. That young Latino kid, he lived in a trailer park. I mean, the only reason he had dinner on his table was because of the generosity of the food bank at Sister Carmen. That kid is not going to make it to mayor. That's what I would have said then, and likely every other person in that room, but here we are. Life takes some interesting turns. And the last thing I will say is I want, if elected mayor, of course, I want to get to work. I'm not interested in any of the backstage politics. I'm not interested in anything other than getting to work. This city requires a mayor and a council that is efficient, that is effective, and that gets work done, and that's what I will do. I will work alongside every single one of you and make sure that we're building a better Lafayette, and we build a strong and resilient Lafayette, because that's what this is all about. Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to speak to a nomination who has not already spoken? Seeing none, nominations are now closed. The city clerk will now hand out ballots for the election of the mayor. You may only vote once for one counselor on your ballot. When you have finished voting, please fold your ballots in half for the city clerk to collect. City Clerk Beck, please proceed with tallying the votes.
Okay, Counselor Barnes received 2 votes. Counselor Tapia Vega received 4 votes, so Counselor Tapia Vega has been elected as the mayor.
So Mayor Tapia Vega, you can now take that center seat, and there is a script for you for the Mayor Pro Tem election. Congratulations.
I have to bring my microphone with me.
We only have 6.
Amazing. Ready? Good? Okay. Perfect. Well, I now open the floor for nominations for Mayor Pro Tem. As a reminder, each councilor may speak once to make nominations, and nominations are not subject to debate or rebuttal. Councilor Jensen.
I'd like to nominate Tim Barnes for Mayor Pro Tem, Councilor Barnes. And in speaking, I mean, David, you had a very long list, and I don't know what has not been said. I guess the main thing I would say is Councilor Barnes speaks with heart, lives with heart, works with heart, and I would love for him to be in leadership of this council.
Are there any further nominations?
I would like to join that nomination if I may.
I'd like to join on that nomination.
I'd also like to join on that nomination.
Any further nominations? I have a nomination, which is strange, because I'm here. I'd like to nominate Crystal Gallegos. I've served with Crystal Gallegos over the last 2 years on this council, and there's a level of expertise that I wish one day to reach, and the level of expertise that she has on the subject she knows is something I would have to live 3 lifetimes to actually fully understand. She knows so much about subjects that I will never even hope to understand. And like she said before, I really got close with her over the last couple of months in our campaign. She not only worked hard, and I saw her work hard. One of the biggest things for me is engaging with the community, engaging with the people of Lafayette, engaging with constituents. And I saw her do this on a day-to-day basis. I saw her knocking on doors. I saw her speaking to people at events. I saw her talking to people at different city events. And the way she talks to people, the way she's able to connect with folks here in our city is something that I truly commend and I truly respect. So I would like to put a nomination forward for Crystal Gallegos. Are there any further nominations? Yes. Does any counselor who has not made a nomination wish to speak to a nomination? Counselor Gallegos.
So I'd like to speak to my own nomination, and something I want to mention is my reliability. In the past 2 years, I have not missed a single city council meeting or workshop. And I think reliability is something that is extremely important to the role of Mayor Pro Tem should the mayor not be able to officiate.
Amazing. Does anyone else wish to speak to a nomination who has not already spoken? Seeing none, nominations are now closed. The city clerk will now hand out ballots for the election of the Mayor Pro Tem. You may only vote for one counselor on your ballot. When you have finished voting, please fold your ballots in half for the city clerk to collect. City Clerk Beck, please proceed with tallying the votes.
Councilor Barnes received 4 votes, Councilor Gallegos received 2 votes, so Councilor Barnes was elected as the Mayor Pro Tem.
Which seat is the Mayor Pro Tem?
Oh, I don't know. You want to switch?
Amazing. Okay. Moving on to public input. Oh, we gotta move the sign. Sorry. We're almost there. Thank you, Clerk Beck. Okay, moving on to public input. First, Frank Archuleta.
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to congratulate you all. I hope you all do a wonderful job. A little bit of wisdom I'm going to speak about here. Basically, as far as you must maintain to the loyalty of your oath, dedication to the values of building an inclusive community. You must uphold fairness and the lasting commitment to the truth. Leaders do not run from criticism, and they do not hide from uncomfortable requests and the suggestions by the citizens of Lafayette. What truly matters is great leadership by City Council in the vital importance of shaping a culture that puts the truth first. I do appreciate and I am grateful for the opportunity to speak this evening to share history. As a historian, I have offered for years the truth and facts, a history of Lafayette from the perspective of a Latino. Spanning more than 124 years of history has radically reframes the history of Lafayette and explodes the silences that have haunted our city narratives. Latino history has been absent for too long, leaving continued and misunderstandings of the Latino struggles for human rights. The time for recognition and understanding of our suffering is long overdue. Respect. We must have and we must accept and value our individual differences and show genuine consideration for the thoughts needed and ideas of Latinos. We must respect the diverse communities and strive to address local needs, and we must have respect and support for the fundamentals of human rights for all people. Let us not forget that there was a racial component involved in the Lafayette politics in the past. Let us all stand up for social justice, social change, stop institutional racism. We must unite, not divide the city of Lafayette. The city of Lafayette stands for building an inclusive, a healthy community. We must continue the healing process for the Latinos of Lafayette. Respect and value the Latino families of Lafayette. For too many years, injustices and racial discrimination has caused trauma, fear, and pain to the Latinos of Lafayette. You might have heard me speak about the cemetery, what transpired here. I want to be clear. The Pottersfield area, Hennings had 100 plots down there. This is what we were after. We went to the Human Rights Commission, and they wanted to shut down that particular area down there. Henning could have buried 4 people in one plot. Who knows how many people in that bottom part of that cemetery. We did not ask to have the entire cemetery basically have a radar underground to find out graves. And like I stated before, for 60 years, I knew different grave diggers and different clerks, and what they would do, if there was overlapping, they would board it up and they would bury them right next to it. Cemeteries across the whole nation are probably like that, more than likely. But Lafayette is exceptionally different. There's 200 names that is not in the database. Louisville has maybe 3. Longmont has 0. It was the clerk's fault in Lafayette. Years back, what happened? They had every opportunity to go down to the Henny mortuary and get the records where people are buried, or Henny gave them to them, but during the racial component of the Ku Klux Klan, these clerks were KKK members. Erasing of history is what they did. Most of the people that are buried on that northern part of the cemetery were Latinos, Catholics, and non-Protestants. The Protestants were buried up by Baseline Road. It was nothing but pure racism and discrimination what transpired in Lafayette. I hope we can do better, folks, and realize what happened. I thank you all.
Thank you. Up next, Thomas Glenn.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your time tonight. Welcome to the new members. Look forward to getting to know you, meet with you. I've spoke here numerous times regarding the Rocky Mountain Airport flight school noise. The flight paths have been changed so that they're flying southbound over 287 towards the Rocky Mountain Airport. I live a few blocks off of there, and basically every day it's a headache. There's periods of the day where there's an aircraft going overhead every 1 to 3 minutes, in succession, one after another. Wanted to raise the issue with you. And also, as of November 10th, there was a 60-day notice issued by the FAA as far as a period of time to object to the flight paths. So that's something that the clock is ticking on already. I'm hoping that you're introduced. I understand that you probably have been introduced to the idea of an objection letter or an objection process to be able to push back on this flight path that has basically put Lafayette's quality of life in decline. I didn't move to Lafayette 12 years ago to have an airport or live in a runway basically every day. They're right directly over my house, 1,000 feet up or less frequently, and something needs to be done. It's very uncomfortable. It's stressful. It affects the health of our children, our diverse population, and also our wildlife. And our wildlife's a big deal too. They rely on sound for their survival in their space. I've seen eagles and I've seen ospreys interfered with by the flights going over the city. And that's not part of what Lafayette's about. We need to do better. So I'm glad to participate in any kind of comments or off subject meetings or any subjects meetings related to this. But again, please do better. And then also, I think we need to be pushing for Rocky Mountain Airport to be pushing for some kind of mitigations that they have the ability to do. They'll kind of push back and say only the FAA is telling us what to do, but they can be doing mitigations as well, whether it's flying higher or doing some deviations to some of the things that they're currently doing with their touch and goes and coming over Lafayette. So I appreciate your time. Please feel free to reach out to me if you want some participation or comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, Leah Lawless.
Hi, good evening. I'm Leah Lawless. I'm a resident of Lafayette, and I've served as the chair of the Sustainability and Resilience Advisory Board for this past year. I wanted to come and just give a quick overview. I think a lot of what has been said tonight has resonated, and 3 of our current council members have either been board members or liaisons to SRAB. So looking forward to 2026 and more engagement with the board. 2 of the 5 purposes of SRAB bylaws are to advise City Council on various environmental policies, issues, activities, events, etc., pertaining to sustainability and resilience, as well as make recommendations in a timely manner to City Council on specific actions relating to goals and strategies in conjunction with our city policies and city comprehensive plans. I just want to reiterate it. I think it's important. I think our city, we have a sustainability department. We passed the climate action plan in 2024. And it takes more than that. There is so much that needs, so much opportunity to continue interweaving policy, guidance, references, resources for our staff and our community. And I think a lot of what has been said tonight kind of resonates where you have limited capacity to do so much. And so how will you prioritize that? How will you be strategic? Please lean on the SRAB board. I think there's a lot of expertise. There's new members joining next year. And you will receive more information in your workshop in the early 2026. But I want to leave with just a final comment and quote. I think, as I said, we have a sustainability department, and it would be great to see more sustainability and resilience mindset everywhere throughout our city. In March of 2025 this year, Resolution 2025-18, a resolution of the City Council of Lafayette, Colorado, recognizing the global climate emergency and affirming the city's commitment to local climate action. So I'm just going to quickly read the last part of it. And I recommend, leaning on that and that mindset for the upcoming year, knowing that we have so much change at the federal level and acting locally can be more impactful than ever. Whereas addressing the global climate emergency requires a community approach and the city to continue to collaborate with local and state organizations, businesses, and community members to develop and implement programs, policies, and initiatives that drive meaningful climate action. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of Lafayette, Colorado, as follows. The City Council of the City of Lafayette acknowledges that we are in a climate emergency that requires an emergency response and transformative, immediate, and sustained action by all levels of government, including local government, to mitigate and adapt to climate change. The City Council encourages residents and businesses to take decisive actions to reduce their carbon footprint and join the broader movement towards a sustainable and climate-resilient future. Finally, 3, the City Council calls upon other municipalities, counties, and states to join in taking bold climate action to protect our communities and natural resources. So thank you. And thank you for serving our community.
Thank you. Stephanie Walton.
Hi, Council. I'm Stephanie Walton, resident of Lafayette. Congratulations. And congratulations to Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem. I was here a few weeks ago and spoke to the trust that that the community has in council, and just want to reiterate and underscore that importance. It was my honor to serve as a counselor for 8 years, and I wish you all the best, and I hope you continue to have the support of the community, and that you really take in your heart and keep it front of your mind the importance of the integrity and trust that the community has in how Lafayette is managed. Not everybody agrees on every issue. That's not the point. I always, I learned in my first year when I went to CML conference that if you can hold space for people to share their input and they can walk away feeling heard, maybe a vote didn't go their way, but it is not easy. And even having sat in those seats for 8 years, it's not easy to stand here and give public input. And I feel like my neck is turning red right now. So you really, you have that opportunity to encourage the public input. And as when I served on council, we always did. And I think that transparency, that encouragement of community input really helps solidify and continues that thread from one council to another of trust. So I just wanted to share those comments. There's an African proverb: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And so I wish you the best in working together as a group. You're one of 6. I'm assuming you'll be taking action to fill the vacancy. And so you're one of 7. And so be sure you lean on each other. And there are a lot of people, myself included, here to support you and cheer you on. I also wanted to introduce myself as the Lafayette resident to Commuting Solutions. It's a nonprofit that supports multimodal transportation opportunities here in our region. I've sent an email to all of you and wanted to just reiterate the invitation to join me at the December 11th membership meeting. The Commuting Solutions meets quarterly with all members, and Lafayette is a member, and through my volunteer role as chair of the Older Adults Advisory Board, I have the opportunity to represent Lafayette. I did a lot with transportation. It is not something that you master quickly, and so I wanted to keep that information kind of alive and supporting Lafayette and the region for continuing the transportation conversation. So the 2 agenda items for that meeting, 3. One is to elect a new board, of which I am on that list and have agreed to be considered for another 2-year term. And the other, there is a joint service plan update that's regarding the Front Range Rail, and also a panel to discuss the RTD Accountability Committee initial draft recommendations. So check your email for that. It's free for members, and so that includes all of staff too. So hopefully there'll be opportunities over those membership meetings for people to come and get updates. The other thing that I wanted to mention as it relates to transportation is just recognize the tragic news from Wednesday evening of Senator Faith Winter. She represented Westminster, Thornton, and Broomfield. I believe that was her district. And she was a fierce advocate for Colorado families, and she spent a lot of time advocating for transportation. So those, I think my first introduction to Senator Winter was at a Commuting Solutions membership meeting early on during my council service, and I took note of her, and she has always been an advocate for transportation. And in fact, the last time I had the opportunity to see her was at the last membership meeting. She buzzed in there, did her thing, buzzed out, but was there in support particularly of transit. So I just wanted to recognize what she did for our state, and particularly our region. And so it's an honor for me to continue to represent Lafayette and advocate for transportation in our region. And so I'm happy to be a resource for you when it comes to transportation. I certainly won't know it all, but have some of that history in the background of some of the decisions that have been made, and happy to be a partner with you on that. So thank you. Best wishes to you all for the next 2 years as you embark on this next council. Thank you.
Thank you. I see no further speaker request forms, so I'll ask, is there anyone else who would like to speak? Come on up.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Ron Spalding, 1326 El Dorado Way. Congratulations, Adam and Anne Marie, for your election success. Congratulations to Saul and Tim for your mayor pro tem. I think we have a good council here, very diversified, which we all been looking for, and we have it. Now I'm going to be brief. You have a lot on your plate coming up after December, which I think you all know. I just want to speak to two things which will be coming before you. One, annexation is probably maybe not the biggest, but one of the top two going to be affecting this city for years to come. And we have three big ones: the Tebow property, the Ranch 287, and Arapahoe, and we've got Lafayette Gateway, East Side, 119th, 120th Street, and then we have Boulder Creek neighborhood homes on Arapahoe coming up. And then something came to my knowledge through a good citizen here. We have a pre-annexation of Boulder Ranch homes next to our filtration plant. Hundreds of homes coming in. Citizens have been very active in all the pre-meetings, and they'll be coming for the Planning Commission. You won't see it for a while yet. But we do not have to annex any of these in, but it's going to be a tough decision. We have a ways to go, big time. Second thing everybody's aware of, just want to keep in the forefront, affordability. I'm not talking about housing affordability. I'm talking about economic affordability for all the citizens in Lafayette. We passed some nice ballot measures, and property taxes are going to go up, and I'm fortunate I can afford these things right now. But when you look at it, you look at the property taxes happening with the ballot measures, it's going to be great improvements. Some agree, some disagree. We also had two ballot measures passed in the county. Open space ad infinitum, and also mental health. Good. Okay. I wonder how many people in here analyze those ballot measures to see what it adds to your property tax and to your mill. Right now, I think Lafayette is the highest sales tax in all Boulder County, if I'm not correct. We know what's going to happen with our water increases. And at the state level, we had a couple of ballot measures passed, which we won't go into, but it will affect us. So I think we have a pretty conservative, fiscal, rational council. And as things progress next year, when we look at things, when we look at the city as a whole, we have to remember everybody. And the unfortunate are those who are seniors, bring it up. And I'll be bringing it up all year and very actively with the Planning Commission and with the developers and all. But God bless you. You got a lot of work ahead. I wish you the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would wish to speak? Two people. We'll start on this side.
Good evening. Bree Lehman over on South Miller. Sorry, Frank. I'll be quick, and I want to offer a message of some hope, actually. I don't typically speak about this in these meetings, but I think with the new council, it's a good thing to talk about. So the aviation issues, the overflight issues. Obviously, it's a big concern for our community, so much so that last year we passed a bill, HB 24-1235, which identified aviation impacted communities, of which Lafayette is one, and put 2 citizen members on the State Aeronautics Board for aviation impacted communities, which were according to certain provisions. So Lafayette's one, and I represent the city of Lafayette on that board, which, you know, I hope to represent not only our community and all the aviation impacted communities well. But I just want to say and here as a Lafayette citizen and not as a board member, but just to show the degree to which our citizens are impacted, is that we had to pass a state law so that we had a voice in that impact is. Yes, there are concerns and there are things that we need to do that we need to keep doing. But right now, all of the work that this council has done, everybody who participated, and you know, Tanya's not here anymore, which is very disappointing, but everything David did when we still had the round table and everything that's happened up until now, the state of Colorado And our community is absolutely leading the nation in addressing this issue from a noise and lead perspective that affects communities all across the country. So I think that it may feel hopeless to a lot of people that there's nothing that can be done and there's nothing that we can do. And we are doing it. And the things that we are doing is really setting a standard on a nationwide level. And I see this every day. I hear from people across the country. I hear from people in the aviation community. I hear from people in aviation impacted communities. Like, we are setting this standard. So I just want to offer to you guys and to everybody in the community, when we feel that this is hopeless, it is not. And the efforts that we are putting forth here impacts not only our community, but impacts communities across the country. So like, don't lose hope, please, and understand that these are things that we can do. This is not federally preempted. Recent legal issues that we've seen come across, absolutely, these are things that are within our control to change. They're things that were within airport proprietors' control to change. This is achievable. And I think what we've done so far, we should be very proud of ourselves, and we should take heart in that what we're doing means something to the community here and means something to the entire country. So thank you for everything that you're doing. Please, let's keep it up. And I'm here to help. So I'm not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. Let's keep it up. So thank you. And welcome to council members. Appreciate it. Look forward to working with you.
Thank you. And if you wouldn't mind, would you fill out one of the speaker request forms? They should be in the back, and then just
Sure.
get it over to our city clerk.
Yes, can do.
Hi, good evening. I'm Kyle Bollier from 1130 Neptune. I will also be brief, and I will also fill out one of those speaker forms, which I neglected to do. I want to build on Bree's point with a message of hope. First, congratulations, Mayor Tapia Vega. Congratulations, Mayor Pro Tem. Congratulations on your re-election. Congratulations on your first election. You're still here. I want to hit 2 quick points. Part of my day job is helping federal agencies incorporate artificial intelligence. And I'm here to tell you that AI is not, I'm not an evangelizer for AI. I think it's really scary. I think it's dangerous. I think there's a lot of ways it can go wrong. But I've been working on AI quite a bit in the past year with these federal agencies, helping them operationalize it, helping them leverage it to tackle their problems. And I got curious in the past month what sort of AI resources there were out there for local governments. So I did a bit of research, talked to a few folks who know more about this space than I do, and they pointed me to the San Jose, California Government AI Coalition, which has already put together quite a number of local governments and resources from across the country, so that like little Lafayette doesn't have to kind of figure it out alone. And a few takeaways from perusing their website and their resources, because they have a number of things already templatized and rubriced out for local governments to kind of just harvest and put into the field, is helping your staff with prompt engineering, helping your staff wrap their minds around AI. Because if you ask most people, have you used AI? Oh, sure, they used it like I would use a Google, right? Like, where is this address? But actually building a system, building a tool that's custom and tailored fit for purpose, they have some really good lessons learned in there. Another thing that they really highlight is that if you don't sort of have a forward-leading strategy for how to use AI, your early adopters, your creative staff members, were kind of like take it on themselves to solve problems on the side. So maybe, I'm not saying anyone in your staff would do this, but they'll take the materials, put them into ChatGPT or Gemini or whatnot, which has some privacy concerns, has some ethical concerns as well. But they're doing it for a good reason, right? They want to be more effective and efficient with limited bandwidth, limited resources. So really just want to highlight the Government AI Coalition. They've had some really good successes identifying areas, with data mapping of areas to prioritize resourcing to address traffic issues. The tree canopy comments we heard earlier, like AI and automation can help identify some of that. I do want to hammer again, I'm not an AI evangelist. I think there's a lot of areas that could go wrong, but it is here, it is coming, and it's particularly of interest to young people and some of the students that I work with, which brings me to point 3. One of the most fun things about the campaigning and the canvassing and door knocking and like seeing some of you out there like walking around the neighborhoods was having a bunch of friends and their kids come door knocking and canvassing. And so I just want to give a shout out to Frankie, Billy, Leanie, Vivian, Sully, Larkin, Caden, Flora, Graham, Penelope, and Gloria, who are kids ranging from 2 months to 16 who helped me door knock as I got to explore our great city. And Frankie in particular, they're all wonderful, but Frankie in particular is like the kind of kid I wish I were when I was 13 years old as she is. Just so thoughtful, so creative, so generous, just like the kind of kid like you just like, oh, if we only just get the hell out of her way, she'll take over the world. So I just want to give Frankie a shout out and all these kids that were so helpful to me. And as I think, and a challenge perhaps for this new council, is how can we get the council out more into the community with young people, right? We have the amazing youth advisory board, that's a small microcosm of Lafayette's youth. So what else can we do to get the council out to young kids and get them really engaged in our local politics? Thank you very much. Good luck. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Anyone else who wishes to speak?
Sorry, I'll be brief. Mike Watson, 708 South Carroll Avenue, last time I checked. I mean, first of all, congratulations, especially to you two for first time up, like really awesome job, like well deserved. Everybody up here, like it was incredible just getting to know, like throughout the campaign, what it takes to run a city. And I still don't know that because it's very, very complicated. But I think like Kyle ended with, part of that is getting off of the dais and talking to the people. Like as you said yourself, Mr. Mayor, in 5th grade, like having the mayor come to your classroom and like personally like be there with you, that's life-changing. And yet, I think a lot of times, like when I've watched city council meetings in the past, public comment, which I think is kind of the initial stage of the interplay between city government and the public, seems to kind of be left behind, where a lot of people get up here week after week after week after week and say the same things. People nod, they say thank you, and nothing happens. I mean, you literally have a group of 100, 150 people who are worried about dying in the next few months because they won't get the gravesite that they paid for. We have a sustainability council that, I mean, the environment is one of the pressing issues, is the most pressing issue that I believe that our generation has to fix. And its front lines is in our community and how we manage development projects. It's in how we deal with tree canopy. It's in learning to say no when a big corporation comes in and wants to pave a little bit more of paradise in order to put up another parking lot. And so I would just really beseech the new council now, when people come in here and say their public comment, which is really, really challenging for those of us who are not natural public speakers. Like if somebody comes in and takes time out of their day, sets aside the evening on a Tuesday, gets up, like fills out a card, like works through all of the stage fright and the nervousness that it takes to get up in front of people, listen to them. Like make it part of the agenda to respond to each individual public comment and create motions. Like you guys have the power to just create motions on the fly. Like you can just move to do something and then it's up to the city staff to work out all the details later. But you could really respond to people when they come up and they make a motion, when they ask for your help. Like the gravesite issue, that's something that could be, I mean, like shame on the city for putting people who are, that's one more worry that people did not need, that a certain group of people did not need to have. And so I hope that at least something small like that can be fixed. Thank you very much for your time. Again, like congratulations, Mayor Pro Tem. Like really, really, thank you. All right, thank you.
Thank you. I've asked 3 times and each time a hand went up, so I have to ask again. Are there any other members of the public who wish to speak? Amazing. I don't see anyone else, so we will close public input. There's nothing else on the agenda, but I do have one question just for our city attorney. From my understanding, the former mayor, Manquette, gave his letter of resignation in. What does that vacancy look in terms of next steps?
So in terms of next steps, so now that the city clerk has received the former Mayor Manquette's letter of resignation, the next step is for council to declare at its next regular meeting, which will be on December 16th. You'll declare the vacancy by resolution. And what that does is it essentially kicks off a 45-day timeline that the city council will have to appoint a member to fill that vacant seat. If I've done my math correctly, I believe if you do pass that vacancy resolution on December 16th, which we will have that prepared for you and that will be on your agenda, you'll have until January 30th to have people apply and then interview and select by a majority vote a new council member.
So when is our retreat?
We do not have that set because we were waiting for the mayor pro tem to join, and then we'll get that. But we have been working with consultants to get options, but it'll likely be in early February so that we can allow the 7th member of your council to join.
That's what I wanted. Okay, cool.
Great. Well, nothing else. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Oh, gavel. Sorry. Now it's